War is often remembered through the lens of strategy and sacrifice. But behind every battlefield, success lay countless tricks soldiers devised to survive in impossible conditions. These weren't official tactics taught in training manuals. They were desperate, ingenious, and sometimes brutal methods born from necessity. Many worked so well that they later became outlawed by international treaties or military ethics codes. Yet beneath their dark efficiency lies powerful survival wisdom that modern enthusiasts can still learn from. These are the WWII soldier survival tricks that saved lives, terrified enemies, and changed the rules of war forever. Some soldiers learned that deception was the deadliest weapon of all. Camouflage and concealment went far beyond painted helmets and netting. In the Pacific, soldiers coated themselves with mud and leaves to blend with jungle terrain, but some took it further. There were instances where Allied scouts smeared their uniforms with crushed vegetation mixed with oil or animal fat to mask their scent from enemy dogs. The method worked. Dogs lost the trail, but it crossed ethical lines as biological masking agents became classified under chemical warfare restrictions. For survivalists, the takeaway is that concealment remains a core skill, but legality and safety matter. The modern equivalent is mastering scent control for hunting or evasion using natural materials like charcoal, clay, or smoke exposure instead of chemicals or bio-based concoctions. The principle of scent and sight discipline remains one of the most effective forms of stealth, as old as war itself. Improvised booby traps and perimeter defences became so effective they're now outlawed worldwide. WWII soldiers defending remote outposts often built deadly traps using wire shrapnel and even trip-triggered grenades. These field inventions were responsible for massive enemy casualties, but they also injured civilians and friendly troops long after battles ended. This led to global bans on anti-personnel mines and certain trap mechanisms under the Geneva and Ottawa treaties. Today, anyone studying these tactics can still apply the defensive mindset safely. Instead of lethal traps, modern survivalists use sound or light-based perimeter alarms. A simple setup, tin cans on string, trip lines connected to LED flashes or wireless motion sensors, channels the same ingenuity without harm. The soldiers' creativity showed how environmental awareness and mechanical problem-solving can provide early warning when the stakes are high. Ration hacks turned desperation into endurance, but broke military sanitation rules. When food rations ran out, soldiers invented ways to stretch supplies. In North Africa and Burma, men boiled leather belts, crushed coffee with gunstock butts, and even reused tea leaves up to 5 times. Some units learned to ferment spoiled rations with sugar or molasses to mask rot, a practice later banned because it caused widespread foodborne illness. The principle, however, is still useful. Turning waste into nourishment safely is the heart of modern off-grid living. Fermentation, dehydration, and resource recycling are survival cornerstones, but unlike soldiers, we now have safer methods. Learning how to make hardtack, dehydrate vegetables, or brew high-calorie broths channels the same resilience those soldiers had, minus the danger. The rule they lived by, nothing wasted, everything used, remains timeless. Medical improvisations saved lives, but were later forbidden for good reason. During World War II, medics often operated with nothing but grit and scraps. They cauterized wounds with heated blades, stitched torn flesh with fishing line, and used alcohol or even gunpowder as antiseptics. Some soldiers injected morphine from communal ampules to dull pain, which unfortunately led to deadly infections. These makeshift techniques were later banned under military medical ethics, replaced by sterilized, regulated procedures. For preppers or remote explorers, the modern interpretation is mastering field medicine safely. It's crucial to learn sterile wound closure techniques, carry proper antiseptics, and practice trauma care under supervision. The spirit of wartime improvisation still applies, but today's survivalist must balance ingenuity with hygiene and science. Because, one wrong move in the field can turn survival into tragedy. Chemical repellents used in the jungle were so toxic they're outlawed today. To fight malaria and biting insects, soldiers soaked their uniforms in chemicals like DDT and benzene mixtures. They worked astonishingly well. Entire units reported near zero mosquito bites. But, alas, the long-term health consequences were devastating. By the 1970s, DDT was banned globally due to its environmental and biological damage. The lesson remains vital for anyone living off-grid or, exploring wild terrain. Protecting yourself from insects is essential, but these days modern solutions exist. Natural repellents made from citronella, neem oil, or lemon eucalyptus offer safer protection. The WWII principle, control your environment before it controls you, still defines survival discipline, but, knowledge and caution are the modern soldier's edge. Silent kills and ambush tactics were banned for their brutality, but honestly, they shaped modern special forces training. Close-quarter combat in WWII often came down to stealth and surprise. British commandos and Japanese infiltrators perfected silent kills, using garrots, clubs and knives designed to cause instant incapacitation. After the war, certain killing methods were banned from instruction in regular armies due to their cruelty. Yet their legacy shaped the birth of modern unarmed combat systems like Krav Maga and Marine Corps martial arts, which focus on control rather than lethality. In civilian life, the underlying skill, knowing how to neutralize a threat quickly, remains invaluable. Learning self-defense systems derived from wartime techniques builds confidence and situational awareness without crossing legal or ethical lines. The soldier's principle was survival by precision, and, it's still one of the most powerful lessons of WWII. Field expedients for fuel and fire, they turned soldiers into engineers. But, many were downright explosive. Cut off from supply lines, those lads made fuel from anything that would burn. Animal fat, alcohol, engine oil, even crushed potatoes turned into ethanol. Some blokes even made flamethrowers from pressurized tanks and valves, scavenged from broken machinery. While effective in the short term, these improvisations often resulted in explosions or toxic fumes, and, they're now banned under field safety codes. For survivalists today, the method, not the madness, is worth keeping. Learning safe biofuel production, solar cooking, or alcohol stove design, it channels the same sort of resourcefulness. It's about understanding chemistry and fire control, not, replicating danger. WWII soldiers proved that survival favours those who adapt materials at hand, but modern safety standards ensure that ingenuity doesn't end in injury. Psychological warfare tactics during the Second World War were so manipulative that even militaries eventually outlawed them. You see, during the war, both Axis and Allied forces employed psychological tricks to break enemy morale. Loudspeakers would broadcast fake surrender messages. Propaganda leaflets spread disinformation, and special units even faked radio traffic to lure enemies into ambushes. Many of these methods were later classified as unlawful deception under post-war codes of conduct. Yet, the psychology behind these tactics still applies to personal resilience today. In survival or crisis situations, it's often your mindset that determines the outcome. Understanding how misinformation spreads and how morale can collapse under fear helps you strengthen your own discipline. The true survival trick, if you will, is mastering your psychology, staying calm when chaos reigns. Every banned survival trick from the Second World War carries a message about human adaptability pushed to its limits. Soldiers turned desperation into innovation, but history recorded both their triumphs and their mistakes. The challenge for modern enthusiasts is to honour those lessons without repeating the risks, to extract the practical skill, not the peril. If you value deep, unfiltered history that connects battlefield ingenuity with real-world survival principles, well, subscribe to Echoes of Valor. Share this guide with fellow history enthusiasts and preppers who know that the past isn't just stories. It's instruction written in the hardest school ever known, war itself.